Hello? Why can we not hear Paul? Oh. Well, everyone, hopefully in a second we'll have Paul with us. Yo. Hey,
Yo.
what's going on? Hold on, let me just... Damn it. Why is
What time is it where you are then?
What time is it? 4.
Yeah. 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Damn it.
Yeah, man. You alright?
I'm just trying to get you in the thing. Messenger call. There we go. So what's going on?
Fucking madness here, man.
Really?
Yeah. It's madness in America as well. Don't know why you're going, really? It's fucking madness everywhere. I can't take it anymore, man. Like, I've been walking up to just any giant dude in a mask, just asking them what the fuck they're doing, wearing a mask. And they don't do anything, man. Even they could just, like, tell me to fuck off or just dump on me. Like, what are you guys doing? I did your invention thing, and only two types of people wear these masks. Fucking perverts and criminals. You look like a pervert. You disgust me. All that porn you're watching, and now you're spreading your fear of that mask. It's ridiculous. What are you wearing it for? And they don't say anything.
Yeah,
You expect to fuck off at least or something, man. It's like nobody's home. It's like I'm in a computer game and it's just full of these NPCs everywhere again. Now we've got to wear a mask. They're doing that here now. Next, like in 2 weeks' time, you have to wear a mask everywhere. Everyone wants the lockdown. The next one, everyone wants it, man.
yeah, it's weird. Like, see, the thing is, it's so weird because to some extent, I don't understand what's going on globally. Like, damn it. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this thing for you. I guess that's good enough for now. So like it's weird because New York is completely fine now. Like there's no talk of anything, but there are these other states that are like relocking down and all this other stuff. And in New York, like it's so odd how New York, like you saw them revise history in real time, where like New York was the hot spot of all the deaths and all of this because they were sending people back into nursing homes. And now, next thing you know, though, it's like New York is fine and they're saying the world is ending everywhere else. But
yeah, when I'm trying to talk to people, like just tell them like the hospitals are empty, guys. They're so empty. They're just going to lay doctors off. They're just making TikTok videos, and you've had it all.
well, I actually have.
There's no one in these hospitals. All these emergency places. They're empty. Not one person's been in there.
I have two funny stories for you about it, actually.
I need one, man.
First one, I was just at work, and my boss was telling me a friend of hers was in there yesterday, and she was telling her about, well, her son, her friend's son was there telling her about how his girlfriend went to get tested, right? So she goes to the place, signs up to get tested, and she's waiting, and she's waiting.
Let me guess. She didn't get it done, and then they went, "Oh, you must have it. You've got a letter in the post saying, oh, you've got it."
Yup, exactly.
Yeah. How was I guess?
She didn't get the test done, and then she gets a letter in the mail a week later saying you tested positive.
Yeah, but what the letter should say was not only have you tested positive, but everyone on that one you're associated with positive as well.
Now, the other thing is, so Brett had a tooth pulled, and then next thing you know, he has a doctor put him on a super high dose of antibiotics that ends up fucking him up. So
just quickly, I've got that problem right now.
So
and what I did, he didn't need to do. Is he got near that hydroperoxide?
I have no idea. I haven't spoken to him, so I have no idea.
I'll drop you a text message for what he needs. You don't need antibiotics for that.
Well, anyway, so he goes to the hospital because he's having a bad reaction to the antibiotics. They test him for COVID, comes back negative. Test him for COVID, comes back negative. Test him for COVID, comes back negative. Test him again. And now, mind you, the whole time they're doing this, they have him in the infectious disease unit. They test him a final time.
Guys, what happened to Brett? Man.
He had a tooth pulled, and then, like, it got infected.
Such a retard?
He always has kind of been. I mean, he gets flu shots every year and gets the flu right after.
Have you asked him if you like had a knock on the head or anything?
You know what's weird?
Were you in a car crash?
I don't want to get too into his personal stuff while we're broadcasting, but
give me a call, man.
I will say at least, after
Force him to call me, say he has to call me, man.
After, he's the type where he will get a flu shot every year and then get sick with the flu the week after and never put two and two together.
I don't believe it, man.
And also, it was this weird thing where it was like at one point he got diagnosed with this mental health this I'll say because he has a song title called this, so he really makes no qualms about people knowing, but he got diagnosed
Anyway.
he got diagnosed as manic depressive bipolar schizophrenic, and after they put him on the medications for it, that's when
why did he take them?
well, because he buys into all of this. He buys into the authority of teachers and doctors and the experts and all of this. But after he started taking the medications, that's when I started seeing him have like symptoms of.
Oh yeah, there's nobody home once that you're on those.
Yeah. So
Nobody.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, I never knew him to be one to just sort of ramble before, but like after he started on the medications, there were definitely things about him that were like, oh, hold on, a friend chimed in. He never got the tooth pulled. He had antibiotics to fight an infection before getting it pulled. But yeah, either way, they still fucking a bunch of negative tests for COVID, and then they test him positive. I'll tell you what, I started rewatching because you got to remember Anthony Fauci is involved in both. I started rewatching the documentary House of Numbers, and COVID is really the new AIDS. Like, it really is. A bunch of shoddy tests that, don't mean anything, but then you're in these data banks and all these fucking quasi-health organizations are fucking...
Some of the labs in America came out today. I mean, you think it can't get any more crazy. Some of the labs in America, I'm sure it's not just America, but they were just giving it 100% all the way. Some labs, that's an entire lab.
Yeah.
A couple of them doing it.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because my mom was texting me last night being like, are you worried about Brett, this and that? I said, not at all. And I started sending her articles being like, the CDC says less than half of the tests are accurate and this and that. And I'm like,
well, hang on.
and it's like mainstream articles.
Hang on. We're going too fast. What are they testing for? Explain it to me.
I don't know. I mean, from what I've heard, they're testing for coronaviruses.
So they've got the COVID virus.
I don't know.
I don't think they do, man.
I don't think there is one. I go that far at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
when
even
I
think.
The test, it even says when you do this test, it can pick up just normal colds, normal coughs. Seeing you've had them years ago, it will pick up vaccines. It will even pick up Ebola. It said on there, AIDS. It picks up anything, man. And then,
see,
I don't think they even do anything with the tests.
But that's the thing. And now we're at the point, and this is why I say it's like AIDS, because I'm thinking of this one specific scene in this documentary, because there's several tests now. Now, here's the thing: is I remember a scene in this documentary where the guy who's doing the documentary goes to get an AIDS test, and he goes to...
Oh, yeah, it's based on a questionnaire.
No, not even that one. He goes to South Africa, and they give him 3 different tests, and the woman says, we do this test and that test, but if they test negative, then we do the 3rd test, and if the 3rd test tests positive, then you're positive. And he says, wait, why would we do a 3rd test if the other 2 say I'm negative? And she says, because the 3rd one is more reliable. And he says, if it's more reliable, why don't we just do that one? And I think she just says, oh, well, this is the procedure or whatever. But yeah, there also are ones where it's just a questionnaire and it's based off symptoms.
It's a blood test and a questionnaire. But a questionnaire fulfills like about 70% of the pass or fail rate.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you had homosexual sex? And if you tick yes, fucking your chance of having AIDS skyrockets based on you saying that.
Yeah, and even like, I mean, there were even scenes of people in there in Africa being like, I'm afraid to lose weight because if I lose weight, they might say I have AIDS. Because at one point they were diagnosing off of symptoms as they were with COVID. Yeah, right. I mean, the parallels are too many to even list. Like, I mean, you could rewatch that documentary and just overdub every time they say AIDS or HIV with coronavirus.
There's some
COVID.
Really great news that maybe I've been thinking about for a while. Like amazingly good news Maybe that means, I'm not saying anthrax isn't real, but the idea of making a biological weapon like a virus might be nonsense. And yes, you inject it into someone.
Yeah, because otherwise, how could you handle it? Um, I mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of.
but maybe it's impossible to even make. I reckon America set China up on it, you know?
I,
I think China really thought they were making this weapon, and all along America were just like, it's not gonna fucking work, you dicks.
I mean, it could be. You know, I don't believe in nukes. I mean, I think we have
Exactly, it could be the same thing. Like, you can't actually make something that's gonna do this much damage.
like
And if
it's
you did, you'd have to inject it, or it would just be like something like anthrax. It'd be something so ridiculous that
yeah. I mean, I
the idea
think
of like a cold or a flu that can just go under the radar. I'm not sure. I
I
think
well
because they
that
tried it with SARS now, they tried it with MERS, and they've all like failed. Ebola kind of just fell flat on his ass. And you wonder maybe they're all nonsense.
well see, and that's the point I'm at, and it's like I worry about myself being at that point because it's like you don't want to become so dismissive that you're then vulnerable, but I'm so dismissive at this point of all of this shit that I think the majority of I mean, it's like Alex Jones things he used to say, like 90% of warfare at this point is informational. It's all about
Psychological warfare.
it's all about
Michael Aquino, yeah, and then we get back in the rabbit hole with pedophilia and Satanism.
propaganda and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, you brought up Edward Bernays, didn't you, earlier?
I posted it. Yeah, yo, that blew my mind that the guy that owns Netflix is a descendant of Edward Bernays and Freud.
Well, I forget about Edward Bernays. It's probably Edward Bernays that made me a conspiracy theorist.
But it makes so much sense.
It probably was, yeah. If I should re-say that. The thing that really woke me up was actually Edward Bernays. Because I was fascinated with hypnosis, and he was Sigmund Freud's brother or something, wasn't he?
Like nephew or something.
Nephew.
Yeah.
So I became obsessed with it, and then I realized the biggest thing that manipulated my thoughts had happened years and years ago, and it was the TV. It was books, stuff I'd read. I don't check anything. I still don't check anything, but I was worse back then.
I mean, and even I'll tell you what, I had it where first let me tell you, and this may be my controversial, statement of the day. The past couple months since, all the BLM stuff and everything like that, where you were saying it's not worth it to even interact with these people, you're right. You are 1,000% right.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you said it's not worth it because at some point you will be called racist just for saying whatever, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you were just saying it seems like there's no reason to even bother with these people at this point. I mean, something to that extent. And I had it where a friend of mine was posting Black Lives Matter thing.
If I see Black Lives Matters anyway, you're blocked. And I've lost a lot of things over this. I don't care, man. You've got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
I see Black Lives Matter on your profile. I'm not asking. I might drop a hint at best if you're someone special to me. The amount of burden I've done is insane. If you even say anything, Black Lives Matter, the kickboxing gym, I'm fucked now. I've told all of them to fuck off, man. All of them. Go fuck yourself for that, man. And these are like proper cage fighters, man. You can go fuck yourself.
Because I had it where a friend of mine posted
same
it.
with companies. I can't watch F1 ever again now.
Yeah.
I won't watch it.
Well, and see, so let me tell you,
anyone that's watching football, I'm getting in their face. Even on work Zoom meetings, when people got their football shirts on, I'm like, what are you wearing, mate? Are you a full-on cock after everything the Premier League's done to you and told you what you are?
Yeah. I mean,
you're going to wear that? That message they're sending to kids. We've had the whole nonsense with the COVID, and they're going to play behind doors, but they're not going to spread it between each other.
And I'll tell you what.
All the clubs are going to go bust because you need bums on seats. All these lower divisions are gone.
You know what?
And that's meant to be the heart of football. It's gone.
You know what I'm.
And then now they're taking a knee. And in England, they flew a White Lives Matter thing over the.
I saw
stadium.
that. Yeah.
They got arrested.
Yeah. Well, and
You're gonna wear your
here's
football fucking
here's the
shirt.
thing that
No, Portsmouth.
here's the thing.
I'm Portsmouth. Liverpool.
I've never been into sport like that. I get watching it, but I don't understand this man. It's just sport, 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 and they're just naming names, naming names, naming names. It's like this is the most boring fucking interaction ever. It's even like animal-like.
I'll tell you the thing that
Fucking bullshit.
the thing that I think is really interesting, like, is that now, they want to set the standard as it's no longer all right to just not be racist. Now you have to be anti-racist. Like, you have to proactively engage. So all I could think of when I saw this was the, quote unquote anti-gay propaganda films that would go through Europe and stuff, basically warning them, saying, listen, here are the steps that it starts, and at some point...
They've banned Gone with the Wind.
At some point, it's going to get to forced participation. So, I'm like, you know what?
Maybe you were reading my mind.
Fucking dismantle all this racism shit, and then afterwards, when they say we're dismantling heterosexuality, and all of you black men that were supporting a movement that wanted nothing to do with you, and you kept telling yourselves, oh, well, it's not about the organization, it's about the message. All right, well, when you're forced to suck cock because we're gonna dismantle heterosexuality after racism, I don't want to hear the complaints.
Dude, you fucking nailed it.
Because you weren't okay with live and let live for everyone else when it concerned black people. So when it moves down to the next thing on the list, because it's gonna just keep going, and then when it's infringing on your life and you're no longer live to live,
you're nearly there. No, they don't need to anymore, because with the football, because you're not putting bums on seats anymore, and you don't have to sell tickets. What do you think's going to happen with equal rights football? No one wants to watch women's fucking football. You'll be forced to on your subscription now because all the lower divisions are gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Lesbians have already had the trans people come after them.
Women's World Cup will be pushed just as hard as the Men's World Cup, and you're going to have to pay for the subscription. If you want to watch the men's, you're going to be paying for the women's, and it's going to be equal salary for them.
Yeah.
You don't know what fucking Pandora's box you're opening by doing football behind closed doors. How can you not see it? You call yourself a football fan. I hate football. I can see this a fucking mile away.
Yeah.
Your subscription, 50% of that, there's no seats anymore. Like, get it into your head, like, it's all be done behind closed doors, so they're going to be able to promote anything they want. Because the only football there isn't any lower divisions, no local teams. It's just your Liverpool, Man United, and it's going to be Liverpool women's team.
Yeah.
And you're going to watch that shit.
I mean, I had it where I approached a friend of mine I did an interview with.
How else could you get equal pay in football? How else could you achieve it? How? Because you can have to base it on, as Ronda Rousey says. She says she hates being all this feminist shit because she can sell out an arena.
Yeah.
She does. Because she's talented, not because she's got a pussy.
Yeah.
But that's rare. A woman sells a fucking stadium now for sport. But now they will. Sorry to rant on that one. I obviously want to hammer this home quite hard. When you watch the cricket, you're going to be watching Women's World Cup. I watched the Women's World Cup before Christmas because I was eating my breakfast. They had this giant stadium. I'm not taking a piss. I could only count 3 people in the entire friggin' stadium. They had all the cameras, all the angles. It's like, what are we doing? And when the women walk on, they still wave to the seats. It's like, fuck. If I was a woman, I'd be like, like this is an embarrassment to women.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, England.
But see,
my country, but
you know what the thing is, though.
No one. This is a joke.
But the fact that they can't understand the market dynamic of it shows you how ingrained this communist socialist nonsense is in people, that they really feel like as if they are entitled to all of this stuff and everything. And it's like, sometimes there are other reasons. Like, it's not just sexism, it's not just race. I mean, I don't even, like, you know what the funny thing is I was so ambitious towards doing this project about psychological warfare implemented against black people in America, and then when I asked people I respected for help for it, my motivation just diminished over them being unbearable, because in me asking for help, I just got berated about why am I even concerned with Black Lives Matter? And I'm like, because it's a multi-million-dollar organization that's getting laws passed, and it is the fucking system at this point. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Why am I well, why aren't you concerned about why aren't you concerned about the KKK?
It is exactly
why the
what,
fuck
it
would
is
anyone
true.
be
The
concerned
statement is
about the
very true, because
KKK?
they're talking about alchemy, I'm sure. Black Lives Matter. They're talking about black lives being actual alchemy matter. If you look at it, you're looking at voodoo, hoodoo, and taboo.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. The sign is a black dude masturbating. It is. He's holding a cock.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, and that's the thing.
I'm not joking. If you look at the leaders, they're actually properly into voodoo.
I'm sure. I don't doubt it. I mean,
you're watching voodoo. This is the greatest magic spell of all time, and all the words as well. Like negro actually comes from the word necrophiliac. Because the people capturing him were like into this stuff, man. They were like, what we see now at the Clinton Pizzagate. They were into this genius of ill, and they would capture people, and that's where the word came from, negros, because you were captured by the necrophiliacs, pretty much. And the word motherfucker is another slave term, which the Black Lives Matter love. They call each other negros. This does go back. I know it sounds insane. It really does go back to the black people. It's fascinating that they have their own occult history, just like we do.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it.
Well,
the baggy pants is a ritual of being fucked in the ass, being owned.
Well, and the other thing too, it's interesting
wearing a mask.
It's interesting you bring up the
I can't breathe whilst wearing a mask.
Yup.
This is a ritual, you fucking.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant ritual.
Oh yeah, and that's why I always say, the Black Lives Matter thing is perfect propaganda. Now, the other thing I hate though is, and this is why I say it's not worth it even. You're right when you say it's not worth it even talking to these people, because I have not heard a single fucking sentence out of anyone's mouth that I haven't heard off the mainstream media. No one is thinking for themselves anymore. No one is saying anything original. No one is saying anything different than anyone else. You could speak to anyone about any of this, and if they are on that side of the fence, they just say the exact same things. I mean, it is a script.
Oh, no,
it is a script that has been instilled in everyone's heads.
I'm going to give you a warning on it and say, hey, we can talk about this. That has to go.
I mean, it is the most.
Why it's not negotiable with me. We can do it.
It is so mind-boggling. Like, and I'm just asking myself, where did this come from? Something has been downloaded into their brains.
Where's all this money gonna get that
that's my question. And then I'm getting berated by asking who's getting rich off of this.
Well, what's their answer?
Nothing. Where's
Daddy's pig?
Any of the legitimate questions I ask, because here's the other thing that no one wants to deal with, is how much money does the grievance industry make? Who is financially invested in making sure racism, sexism, and all this other stuff doesn't end because they've gotten rich off of fighting it? No one wants to acknowledge that there is a side of this that will, in its own, self-interest, will just perpetuate endlessly. Like, it is.
I'm not seeing many black people fall for it, though. That's the weird thing.
I am.
I don't know who's saying America. Like, proper black.
But again, well, and that's the thing. It's only educated fucking
people.
The blacks
I hang around with, none of them, they all think it's fucking. Actually, they kind of want to. They obviously don't want to be anywhere near it because the image it gives black people is worse than anything the KKK could fucking do.
Well, see, but here's the thing: is I know a handful of people, and it's so funny because I've explained to them. I'm like, And here's the thing: is even other black people were trying to explain to them, and they just didn't want to hear it, and maybe that's why they were being hostile. But in the same, in the same breath, they'll say it's not about the organization, it's about the message. But then in another way, when they're telling me I'm wrong for focusing on the organization
No,
and
fuck
exposing it,
No, fuck that. Stop.
yeah,
I'm going to go along with it. I'm going to go along with it. Okay. So we'll go along with it. So do black aborted babies matter?
you know, that's another
Anybody
point
there?
I make.
Hello?
That's
Can
an
I get,
yeah,
can
that's
I get
another
anything for the black baby? Hello?
another point I make where it's
racist.
crickets.
Okay,
Crickets.
what about the dead cops, the dead black cops? Can I get something for those lives?
Oh, don't
Like,
no. Here's
cricket.
my other thing that I see coming, and I didn't even want to bring this up because again, you gotta
What the Chicago gang violence? Do those lives matter?
you gotta realize in some of these
What about George
conversations.
Floyd, the criminal? Yeah, the criminal. Yeah.
But think of it like
It's
this.
what
I
about that little black 6-year-old that got shot? Crickets.
yeah.
What about that black dude that did an armed robbery and then resisted arrest? Yeah, his life matters. It's like, you must be able to figure it out now, surely.
You would think, but again, it's people trying to appropriate this thing and basically say it means what I want it to mean and not what 99% of the world think it means or even what the organization itself thinks it means. And it's like, and the thing I said to him is I said, so it'd be like walking out of your house wearing a rainbow shirt that says pride on it and then being surprised when a dude grabs your ass. Like, you can't just signal to everyone something that everyone's going to interpret one way and say, no, but I mean something different by it, and you're all the assholes for thinking it means what it means. Like, I mean, I am just so, you know, it's like Douglas Murray was saying the other day, we just need to stop playing the game. Stop playing the game. It's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this fucking secret white supremacy everywhere act and all this other bullshit. This manipulating of reality. If you all want to function under this paranoid delusion, have at it. Have at it. But live and let live. And I'll tell you what, when you defund the police and it creates a power vacuum where a group of, like, who knows, me? I mean, my honest concern at this point is you will have defunding of the police and the Klan might actually rise again. Like, because why not? Who's gonna stop them? You got rid of the police. Like,
the police are pretty much gone now.
What the fuck are people asking for? Like, it's
I think
like,
the police in America are pretty much redundant, aren't they? I don't know if that's just the image I'm getting at the moment, but everything I'm just watching people walking out stores, whatever they want, random executions, people getting run over. I like the running overs. I've never seen so much murder before over the last couple. Like, it's like every day I'm just watching stuff.
it's not safe for them to try to do their jobs anymore. It's really not.
Are you not getting the impression? Like, I don't know if you're following social media, but whenever I put anything on, I must witness about 10 new murders. I don't think it's good for us.
No, it's not. New York City is back to being
Facebook
like in the
is like
70s.
Facebook page. It's just full of people getting shot, run over,
Yeah.
kicked in the head. Why he's getting shot in the back of the head. I've probably seen maybe 20 hit and runs since it started. I've seen statues land on people. I've seen it all.
Yeah. Yeah, social media is like an ongoing snuff film. Like, it's ridiculous.
But what does that do to you if I was younger, if I was like 10 and I had Facebook and I was just watching out my phone or whatever?
I don't know, but all I know is these people, first of all, they have no idea what they're asking for because they don't even have no idea what reality is at this point. Like, it is really, really fucking insane how warped things are. And I mean, there are a handful of people, I know more people that know what's going on than don't, but a lot of them at this point are just feeling demoralized. Like, I mean,
that in the torture manual, though, to quote Amazing Polly, that when you torture someone and you restrict their movements, you isolate them, that part of the things is that you have to give them rewards, but obviously the rewards would be based on what the reward, like, your slave owner gives you. So if you only finish Black Lives Matter, which is the only reward being offered, it is kind of a reward because you get to go out, you get to party, you get to rob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down 3 months, isn't it? Blow some steam. It looks like it's kind of more like a reward. It's more like a social engineering.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
been knocked down, which is a prison term. You've been manipulated because the media have been hitting you hard, man. You can't really get away
Well,
from it.
and here's the, you know what other very basic point I've been trying to make to people whenever people again go down these talking points of, well, you know, the statement needs to be heard, it needs to be said, Black Lives Matter, and it's, I just ask, who are you trying to convince? Said to who? Like, if anything, it appears you're just preaching to the choir over and over.
But,
like,
who's Black Lives Matter? Give me an example.
well, and that's again the other thing. Who's?
Who are we talking about?
Because, you know, the movement itself doesn't want anything to do with black men unless they're cutting their dicks off.
I'll say the name is George Floyd. Okay, we're talking about George Floyd. So George Floyd Lives Matter. Does the pregnant woman he raped, I can't say he raped, I can definitely say he robbed her at gunpoint and beat her. He got off the rape charge. That's what they're not telling you. You know he mugged that woman. He got done for an armed robbery on a pregnant woman. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, the pregnant woman was also raped. So does her life matter at all in this?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, and that's the other thing, where the movement itself is so exploitative of black people.
But it hasn't got bad yet because I think it's staged because that autopsy report's perfect. You have to let the cops go on that autopsy. The autopsy.
Yeah, I don't think it happened. I know police officers that don't think it happened.
I looked through that autopsy and it clearly states that the cop did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I've been thinking more and more about that.
It's not like my opinion. That's what the autopsy says. He says he was so high on fentanyl, he was a goner anyway, and he was having panic attacks, and he had all this history of stuff where he shouldn't be touching these drugs, and he'd been told by the doctor. He was on cocaine as well. His heart just going insane. He was already having a fit during the arrest on the car.
Yeah, and you can't have it where someone is fucking high on the verge of overdose.
The body cam.
Yeah, you can't have it where someone's high on the verge of death from an overdose, and then a cop does what they're supposed to do, and all of a sudden it's the cop's fault because someone's about to overdose.
What if? Imagine if this came out. You know when he's in a car and it looks like they're beating him. What if the body cam shows that they're actually trying to revive him?
The other thing, though, is similar to Trayvon Martin. He has a look-alike fucking brother that could easily just stand in for it. Like, I don't buy any of it.
No, the Floyd George looks like that. It does look like that paramedic dummy. You seen a paramedic black dummy? Looks just fucking like it, man. Because it's got hair and then he hasn't got hair. The hair looks a bit weird on George Floyd.
I just don't. And here's the other.
The angles don't make sense.
Here's the other thing that just bothers me, where it's the disconnect.
You can see it staged as well. That car position, so you can't actually see what's going on. That is a perfect. Like,
if black people want to come to me, if black people want to come to me and say the whole system's corrupt, it's manipulative, this and that, and everything else.
It's not racist.
No, that's I was gonna say I will give them that. It's when they say it's a white supremacist system, and that's the reason why. That's where we differ. But you know what? You know what? Hold on. I will give. I will.
Racist isn't in a 1950s Webster dictionary.
Well, no, hold on. Let me just finish up my point. Because you're right, all of this is new creations and new inventions, but so let's just say the whole system is corrupt, it lies, it's manipulative, this and that, and it's just here to oppress us. I'll give you all of that. Hell, I'll even give you it may be a white supremacist system or whatever. Fuck the motives of its corruption. We'll agree more it's corrupt and all that. Then why are you trusting it? Why are you trusting it when it shows you this George Floyd clip? Why, when all these politicians are kneeling and saying, do this, this, and that, are you fine? I mean, that's the part that drives me crazy, is the part...
How did Obama get him?
The part of the system is all against us and everything like that, and then you just fall in line and become an NPC for the system? Like what? How? Why? If this, and that's what I say. I tell people this basic thing, and again, I get crickets from it, where I say you can tell a movement is legitimate or not based on.
You've answered it. Bernays, the mind control. It is NPC. They've been wiped.
Yeah, because it should be this simple. If you want to know if a movement is organic or not, if a movement is not organic, it wants to grow the system. It wants to grow the system and change the system. If a movement is organic, it wants away from the system. It wants to shrink the system.
So remind me where all the Black Lives Money is going. It's going to Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Democrat fundraising mechanism.
Riots, then.
Nothing
to Trump.
It is, and you know what's funny about it is Joe Biden was doing shit fundraising before BLM.
You've got to get this into your head. I know you don't want to hear it. The chances of Trump winning are not good.
No, everything that's going on is to stop it. I know that. That's what.
Because he can win legitimately and they can just steal it.
Yeah, they're already prepping it for all of that.
And they've said, we're going to put the military in if Trump contests it.
Yeah, they're not even gonna let it get as far as a investigation this time. I know that.
Like, that's a serious question. What is Trump's campaign? You remind me, what is his next? You remind me what is said about his campaign?
Well, now I'll tell you at this point.
Come on, what is Trump's campaign?
Well, I was gonna say
there isn't one.
No, there is.
Guys, there isn't one.
There is. I mean, people.
Well, he's wearing a fucking mask today.
People even say like his Mount Rushmore speech was his greatest speech to date. Like, because at this point, well, no, because here's the thing is, at this point,
Did he say, "I'll lock you up" to Hillary? No, that was his greatest speech. He ain't beating that. It didn't happen. That was the greatest.
But his campaign has been handed to him by the left.
The way he did it in 2016 was a masterclass.
But his campaign has been handed to him by the left at this point because they're saying dismantle and get rid of everything. George Washington, Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, but now you're contradicting yourself because you look at how powerful this movement is. Now you're blind to how big this movement is.
What do you mean?
Well, because all the companies are behind Black Lives Matter. All this rioting. You obviously got all these there's going to be a huge giant voting block from that.
Yeah.
Again, there is.
I'm aware of that.
And now you've got the fact that God even knows how they're going to even do these fucking elections. Man.
I know.
They're going to rig the hell out of it.
I know.
I'm just going to move on because I hate talking about Trump, but he hasn't got a campaign like he did in 2016. He just doesn't. It's a big mistake on his behalf. A giant mistake, and he's not going to do what we need him to do, which is to say COVID's a scam, Fauci's out, we need these fucking Q arrests now, we need them now.
See, the only thing where I think there might be a turning point
they're flipping shipping kids in cupboards now
is you have to also keep in mind, though, Biden is still not the official nominee. So, no, he's not. So,
who's the official nominee then?
There isn't one yet. The DNC hasn't held their convention yet. So, and actually, because remember, hold on. Let me listen to this. Listen to this. Hillary is fundraising. I forgot about that because remember, I date someone who works for the Postal Service. He has had to deliver. He has had to deliver Hillary fundraising packages out. Yes, I've gotten pictures from Postal Service workers that Hillary is sending out fundraising packages. Hillary is fundraising, so there still might be a curveball coming as far as the campaigning and all of this other stuff.
What do you think her slogan will be?
Who knows?
I have a pussy. Vote for the pussy. I have a vagina.
Wear a mask on your bush. Who knows? But yeah, shit is. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, I just look at it like I,
They
if
can't put Hillary up. There's
if
no
we
way.
thought the deck was stacked against him in 2016, it is nothing compared to the stack that's against him this time around. Nothing. Because now, you know, it's coronavirus, it's riots, it's...
What about if it really is Kanye West?
What do you mean, as far
Kanye
as
West, Trump,
to run
2020.
against him? I have no idea, but...
Would you leave the country at that point? You'd be like, okay, I am done.
Yeah. I mean, and part, you know,
How possible is it that we get to see this?
I don't know.
Like out of 100.
I really don't.
They're gonna roll into the Obamas, I reckon.
I mean, I know there's going to be a curveball, that I'm sure of, but I don't know. I mean, they are prepping the stage, though. Whoever wins, it's going to be contested. Tim Pool actually had a really good take on it, where he said, imagine the Electoral College goes to Biden, or the Electoral College again goes to Trump, but the popular vote goes to Biden, and they already have these groups mobilized and radicalized, and just the amount of chaos it will be when both sides declare themselves the winner. And then, you know, it's like, it's going to be explosive. I mean, and I think honestly is, even if he wins, they want it to get so bad that there is a outcrying of support where people just say, we can't have this, and try to rationalize removing him immediately. I mean, I've already seen articles where people are saying that because Trump is such a big threat to national security, that when Biden wins, he needs to resign immediately and install Biden day after the election.
Maybe that's why he got cocaine draw out of prison quickly.
But I'll tell you the crazier
like
part.
Gonna need him.
Realistically, neither of them have much of a campaign going.
I think the Democrat campaign's way better than Trump's. What, burning shit down? Killing cops, killing whiteys, fucking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's effective. To what ends? Who knows? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Their whole campaign is just them starting to tear down.
I was ready for it.
Their campaign is just them starting to overthrow America.
The race war didn't work. It's got to be aliens next. Has to be. I was preparing.
Aliens would unite people too much, though. It would be like a new Bin Laden. Everyone would be patriotic again.
Yeah, that's why 9/11 is very different. I think they learned from 9/11 because that made America amazing. Patriotic.
Yeah.
But the code is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
Put on your mask, slave.
Well, and here's the thing is, with the COVID thing, it essentially, like, you know, my boss was telling me, even, you know, with church going on, and she's like, you know, they're giving sermons about Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff, and she's like, and I don't want politics at church. She's like, and, you know, they're talking about, we can't have choir anymore, we can't have the coffee time afterwards. She's like, and that's the social aspect of it. She's like, I'm looking at it, and she's like, I'm not getting anything out of this anymore. And it's like I feel like there's a lot going on lately that even those of us that are awake, they're really trying to, like, demoralize us and just make us feel like...
I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty close to just giving up on everything.
Yeah, like, they have it where it's like, you could not understand someone saying, I'm just gonna go along with it because it's easier. Like, it's the path of least resistance. Like, it really... Because, you know, whether it's the whole mask thing or...
Let's go along with the mask, and I go along the whole thing. And this thing is really contagious, it's really infectious, and it could kill Granny. What are you doing with that mask once you take it off, then? What are you doing with it?
Yeah, because most people are just reusing the same one.
Isn't that like a biohazard toxic waste that should be treated
right?
With professional cleanup crew?
Right?
If what you're saying is right, that mask should be like the most scariest object on the planet you could think of.
Basically.
Imagine if it was AIDS. You went AIDS, and you could get it from the mask. So you'd have to dispose of the
You
mask.
know, did I tell you the thing I saw? Someone made the correlation where they said,
what are they doing with the mask?
hold on, someone made this correlation where they said, if COVID is what it is and they're mandating masks, then why didn't they mandate chastity devices during AIDS?
Or butt plugs.
Or butt plugs. Yeah, either or, you know, but it's the same sort of mindset of like, we are going to put this physical barrier in between you and this virus we've told you is coming for you.
We should patent that one. The
Huh?
next outbreak. We should patent that for the next outbreak of AIDS.
Right?
Butt plugs.
It's fucking, I don't know. It's all really obnoxious. I try to just not concern myself too much, but it's...
And I lost my shit with the Wayfair, because when I first saw Wayfair, I was like, oh, I could set this up. It's fucking nonsense. You're all being played. You're gonna look so stupid.
Yeah.
And I started looking, and it's like, I don't want to look anymore. It's real. Yeah, it's bad.
See, I still don't really know what that whole situation was. Something about missing kids being the same names as, like...
And what they're doing is Wayfair's a lot like Amazon or eBay. You have third pies on their selling. So they've got these really shitty cupboards with children's names, and they're going for like 12 grand, 13 grand. They've got these pillows by Ellen DeGeneres and stuff like that, for like 10 grand. And then you look at who owns this place. George Soros has got a lot of money in this place. Ghislaine Maxwell was going on about it on her Reddit page. The adverts actually them delivering kids. And then there's a bust in America, this giant paedophile bust. One of the paedophiles, there's these black guys who were running this paedophile ring. They were wearing a Wayfair t-shirt. And it just gets more and more crazy. You see that other paedophiles are actually have worked for the company and are really closely associated with the company. And then you think it has happened before, because it's like the Craigslist, they were doing it there. And the amount of, to pull this hoax off, they must have been doing it for at least 10, 15 years it's been going on.
Yeah.
It's not new, this one. And it's not just this place. I found another one called Kiddies where they were doing it, which is even worse. They're doing it on Amazon and eBay as well.
Not surprised. I mean, and that's
And then you look at the way the press are just jumping on this to cover it up quickly. The more I look, the more crazy it's getting. I don't think they're actually delivering kids in cupboards, but they're obviously
money laundering it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, see, and that's the thing where it's like,
and when you say, oh, it's nonsense, we just found these dungeons in Holland. Do you see that?
No.
They found these, they were getting these shipping crates, right? And then they would kit them out as pretty soundproof torture chambers. So just be a chair in there, like a dentist chair. And then you could go on holiday, book a holiday, and just kill a baby. And they said they were doing it for ages. They had like police uniforms, police cars and stuff like that. So I guess that's how they were picking people up. Which reminds me, on Epstein's Island, they had that ambulance. That ambulance is probably for transportation, guys.
You know what's interesting? I heard Jay Dyer talking about Native Americans. It made me think of the adrenochrome thing, where he says when Native Americans would scalp people, and I couldn't tell if he was joking or not, but it would make sense. He says when they would scalp people, they would lick the inside of the scalp because there were chemicals in there from the brain that would get you high.
I've been looking harder into adrenochrome. You can get powdered adrenochrome as well, which is really common.
What do? Snort it?
Huh?
Do they snort it, or?
Not sure, you know. Look that hard. I was trying to look at the reviews. Oh shit, I forgot. You can buy it on Alibaba, AliExpress. It's got a different name. It's called a Coronadrome or something like that.
Nah.
It's pretty cheap. But don't you remember those other stories where they said they were smuggling drugs out of China that were made out of fetus cell tissue. Then you had all the BBC articles about how they are vampire cults that drink blood. They have these voluntary groups and they drink blood and it does
Yeah.
really benefits. Drinking blood has been around in pop culture. You remember Angelina Jolie used to be well known for drinking blood. All celebrities have these blood drinking stories. I know it sounds far-fetched.
Yeah.
But if you go to Google, I can remember seeing it all around 2012. All this blood drinking plasma stuff that was going on. Look at the high society vampires. They all drink blood to look younger. Kim Kardashian wraps it on her face. Fucking Sandra Bullock sticks that cut of penis on her face. So, adrenochrome ain't that far-fetched.
No. I mean,
that's what the frazzle drip video is meant to be.
And that's the thing that, like, just bothers me, is, like, that there's all of this inarguable evil around everyone.
You can't deny Wiener's laptop and what Flynn's lawyer said about it. What's her name? Sidman or something. She did that statement where she said, hey, they something to do with the BlackBerry messages where they searched the laptop, didn't find anything, but it's the BlackBerry messages. And if you find out what's on that laptop, Trump needs to give it to the head of his military. Because they had their New York Police Department look at it, and they all had to throw up. And I think a lot of them committed suicide, right? About 12 committed suicide during that time.
Maybe.
You don't know about the... Yeah, check that out. Like, when the Wiener laptop was found, all the NYPD, it's still happening now. They keep killing themselves. There's been mass suicide in the NYPD Police Department. And people are saying it's because of what's on that stupid laptop.
Yeah, and it's like, with shit going on like this, like, it helps the powers that be for everyone to be wrapped up in this.
Email. We missed one. Remember we did that Pizzagate? Right, there's an email from Hillary Clinton, and it's to Abba Houdin, whatever her name is, Podesta, Alefantes, all the usual suspects, and it says, what does it say? Oh, she's saying, oh, warning, Barack. Just, be careful with the hot dogs and the pizzas in the White House. You might want to use a different location. Perhaps this pizza place would be better. I don't want to tell you what to do. After all, like, you are president, but it's too obvious in the White House. Like, it's going to come back and bite you. And then in the next email, they talk about how they're going to go to Comet Ping Pong, and that it's going to be sacrifice night. Can Abby Nadine bring Clinton's inhaler, because you know how excited she gets on sacrifice night? How did we miss those two emails?
Yeah.
And then remember what's on that laptop? I was listening to a cop who claims he's seen it, and he says that it's outside and they tie a girl up to a tree. A surgeon's there, Hillary's there, and that witch Aberdeen's there, Uma, whatever her name is. They cut the face off, the doctor does it really quickly. Hillary's like, puts on her face, and then they pull out the adrenochrome, and then they share it.
Would not surprise me. And it's like, that's the thing that really.
And you think that's nonsense. That's nonsense. And then you see Hillary's random outburst during that interview, which goes, well, if any video comes out, on that dark web, dark web, any flashy, videos of me doing nasty things to children, it was Trump. It was Russia. It was like, what, Hillary? It'd be like if Jamie came up to me and go, Paul, if a video comes out of me in the next couple of days, and I'm like dumpster pumping, and I'm high on coke, it's not me, right? And that's not my mate Gary, okay? I'm just telling you now in case it comes out. Be like, Jamie.
Yeah, that's seems like a bit of damage control.
Oh, by the way, guys, if a video comes out of me, right, in the next couple of days, me and my mate Gary, it's not Gary in the video, but if it, oh, fuck it. It's a deep fake.
Well, and
it's Ghislaine Maxwell thing's fucking stupid. They haven't busted you're a fucking idiot if you think the FBI have got Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is the FBI.
Yeah.
Why have you not learned anything?
Well, that I no, that I know. You know,
Well, it's a honey trap. It's called a trap. So, and what they can do now, the FBI, is first of all they need to know what fucking evidence is lying around, don't they? And it's got to be cleaned up. So they probably are talking to her. But now they're talking to her, what's really going on, they've been talking to her for a long time, is people start sweating in the circle. And some of them might try and get a plea bargain through Ghislaine. Okay, I'll tell you what I was up to, and then I'll tell you what other stuff I saw. And then the FBI will use it when they feel it's necessary to use it. This isn't a bus to get the paedophiles to queue in. It's not. This is what the FBI always do if you've watched any film.
yeah.
They haven't got Ghislaine. They're just seeing who comes forward if people think they do have her.
Well,
And if they start phoning people like people who they want to get, they can. It's going to be a great bargain tool if the person being interrogated thinks that Ghislaine is singing like a bird. They're going to obviously. That's going to be in the back of your mind when you're being questioned again. You'd be like, oh, okay, I might as well get a plea bargain.
well, see, the thing is I always look at it like there's like a circular.
Maxwell is the FBI because if you look, go back to where.
No, that's what I'm saying.
When they brought the Nazis over from America, that was the Maxwell's lot. And you look at her sisters in NASA, in all these IT companies that do us data gathering. It's her sisters that are really running the show, not
Yeah.
just
Well, see,
she's an idiot. When I listen to her speak, I was expecting her to sound really intelligent. She reads the same script every time about, oh, I left the sea, and when I was young, I left the sea, and then I get submarine, and submarine great, and I hope to find stuff. It's like, you're a fucking retard. You're not running anything. You cannot. I do not believe she's a submarine pilot. You can get the fuck out of it. She's not flying any planes. She doesn't speak. She don't, guys. She can't even speak English, guys.
well, and I always look at it where it's like
retard. She's an inbred fucking retard.
the
I'm not
FBI.
saying who she is. I listen to her expecting like she must be a mastermind because I admit, guys, I don't think women are that smart. So it's kind of rare. You're like, I want to see this. You're saying this woman's this. She must be smarter than Trump, man. I gotta see her speak. And I listen to her speak, and it's like she's an idiot.
Well, and
She runs nothing.
I think the problem that the FBI runs into is they do these entrapment schemes, and then it ends up in this sort of circular entrapment where it's like, you know, well, if, you know, Maxwell and Epstein have the dirt on Prince Andrew and Clinton and this one and that one and the next one, well, who has the dirt on them and who has the dirt on that person? You know what I mean? Where it's like, it just sort of makes you wonder, like, it's like everyone has blackmail on everyone else, and that's why the system can't allow itself to ever it can't allow it to ever come out, because then everyone ends up implicated. I mean, that's the way these things have always functioned.
Where's the mugshot of Maxwell?
That's a good point.
Where's the footage of her being arrested? You think the media would be all over that footage? Like, remember Roger Stone?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, Roger Stone.
All the cameras were there ready for the big showpiece. But we don't even have a photo of Maxwell being arrested.
Well, and I think if anything,
man.
you know, they were already unveiling the script of her catching COVID and dying, which
COVID-19.
I think that's still in the cards, where they're just gonna have her this character, because I think they're like fictitious.
She's not even in any
characters.
trouble, really. She's not in trouble.
Well, yeah,
all,
they're saying it might all get dismissed under Epstein's original deal.
I don't, because America's retarded when it comes to law, remember, because it's unlucky. I've got to get this right. America doesn't have a legal system. It's got a legal procedure. It's not like, that's one thing the UK did have, which was good. It doesn't have it now. We used to have a legal system. That's why the UK used to be a bit better than America in many ways. Not in all ways, but in many ways. Just because America does have a legal procedure. And the obvious example of that is how you execute innocent people, right? Because it's a procedure. It's not proven beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm kind of digressing. But the only thing, because I think she was arrested in New York, these are New York City charges. No other states getting involved. It's like New Mexico isn't going to get involved in this. So it's just going to be like a couple of years that they're looking at, like 3 or 4 years when she was in New York. So maybe that not much was going on then.
I don't even think it's going to go that far. They're talking about having it all thrown out because in Epstein's original deal from way back, the sweetheart deal, it gives immunity to all of his co-conspirators.
Well, that would make sense because they destroyed the file, didn't they, from that woman that was a victim.
I don't know. That I'm unaware of. But I mean, I don't see anything coming of it. I think if anything, they're going to fake her death and just reinstall her somewhere else doing the same game. Probably. I mean, there's been drone footage of Epstein's Island and it looks like he's back there.
I think I know where he is. Because there's an island next to... He's probably on Joe Biden's island. Because that's right next door, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't know Biden had one, but I'm not surprised.
Islands, I know. Like, I think that idiot Branson's got his down that way.
Yeah.
Which burned down, didn't it?
Which only gives them an opportunity to rebuild it.
Apparently that's what the black eye is. Black eye cult. If you do adrenochrome, no shit, it gives you black eye. One black eye. Take too much adrenochrome, you get a black eye. That's a fact. Remember the Black Eye Club? Pope's got a black eye. Tony Blair's got a black eye. Yeah. If you look up side effects of adrenochrome, black eye. Yeah, Google's opened the floodgates again on adrenochrome. That's what I should tell you. You know, open the floodgates, like, because I was big into adrenochrome and I was like, it's no way it's real, it's no way it's real. And I've been following this rabbit hole 8 years. And then when the Epstein got arrested, the whole floodgate on Google just opened. It's like, no, it is real. So that information must have been withheld, because I looked, man. I looked hard. I couldn't find anything on adrenochrome. Just this one scientific paper. And that was a bit crap, a bit sketchy. And now the floodgate opened when Epstein. Now it's opened again. And I found all that powder and just how easy it is to get, man. Anything, even a Wuhan factory was apparently knocking it out. That's where a lot of it's coming out of. Wuhan. Maybe we're just nuts, Jamie.
I don't know.
Government really loves us. They're worried about us catching COVID. They want us to wear our masks. They want to vaccinate us. And just keep us all safe. And they're going to fly food to us in drones. You're going to be Bubble Boy from now on. Jamie's Bubble Boy. Just lives in a bubble. I think the other thing is the big conspiracy is we all know we're energy. If you separate people 6 feet, I think the cycle breaks. I think they know that. But your heart's got a pulse, your soul's got a pulse. And it resonates. They don't really resonate that far. It's only about 6 feet. It's just like a chain. We're all one, man. And how come Japan's only had 7 deaths? Japan. They stack people on top of each other.
Yeah.
And they've had 7 deaths. Can someone please explain to me? I just can't understand how can no one... I can't talk to my parents. They believe this. I can't have any respect for you if you're scared of this. After all the Brexit stuff, after all the Black Lives Matter stuff, you even tell me yourself you don't trust it. You don't trust the climate change, thank God. You can't understand how it's on TV. But you believe them on the COVID. What are we doing?
But Paul, I'm elderly. I might get the COVID.
And what, you get a 99.7% survival rate? Oh no. Oh no. And then you go, but loads of people are dying. It's like, can someone just name me one of these people, please? Because I've been asking, I've not had one fucking name. I just want one name of someone that's died of COVID. Come on, can I have one name? Oh, my uncle's friend. Really? Your uncle's friend? That's the best I've heard. Are you just trying to make me look like a dick for like calling you out for saying no one's died of this? Or did your uncle's... what was her name? Mavis. How old was Mavis? Oh, 101. Oh my fucking God. What are they... how can a test... that's all I hear in England. Oh, the test numbers are going up. Yeah, because they're fucking non... What is the test? The test is to see if you're a fucking retard. That's the test. Are you a fucking retard? Because this test, if I need to test your DNA for the coronavirus, which you've got, we've all got it, because the virus is in your body, it's like, do I really need to go into the brain barrier to swipe you? Do I really need to do that? Or can I just take a swab? Jamie, I'm really worried I'm looking at a jail sentence, man. I'm not having them stick that into my brain barrier just to get a fucking... They can get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm getting violent, man, at that point. I ain't give a fuck. And that's why I'm getting worried now, because I'm losing all... When a man hasn't got anything to lose, you start thinking crazy. And when the needle comes, I'm eating dick, man. I mean it. I'm not in a gay way. I'm biting a guy's dick off, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Can't punch the dude. If you punch him and knock him out, it's just going to do it. It's not out the game. Like, if you put a needle on me, I'm taking you out the game. If I bite your dick off, I reckon it's going to put you off fucking jabbing people with that fucking needle. I mean, if I don't care if I can die into that, man. That'd be epic. I could just see myself doing a jail sentence. That's the only future I can see. This looks like I can't see it. I can't see any positive future right here in the UK. Nothing. And I'll call my mum and say, right, I can get a passport this week. I could be out there. It's like, oh, but Bulgaria, I'd be lonely. It's like, you're in a fucking prison cell, you idiot. But when you missed the Black Lives Matter riots, no, not really. When you missed the internet, no. Oh, but no one will be able to speak your language. That's kind of quite handy right now. And that's kind of racist. I heard that's not true, that everyone in Bulgaria, like a lot of people speak fucking, like a lot of people speak English out there. A lot. Even in that village where they had a nice culture. I like the idea of just sitting in the garden, man. And just find a wife who wears that silly dress and does the dancing and does all the traditional shit, man. And I'll just hang about at home. And there'll be some weird old guys drinking a lot. And just sit and drink with them. Make a little punch bag. I've got a gym, that's what I need, is a punch bag. Electric guitar. Figure out a guitar amp from somewhere, a little guitar amp. Stick that in the garden. And just concentrate in the garden. My mum's like, that's the most extreme idea you ever had in your life. I can't believe I brought up a son like this. You want to go to Bulgaria and have a garden? What's wrong with you? What about the COVID? Are you going to stick around for COVID? The next lockdown's going to be wonderful. And then we'll get Brexit. Yay! It's like, Mum, I'll come back for you when Dad dies. Give me a call when Dad dies and I'll sort something out, look after you. Because you're mental.
I mean, it really is.
I won't ever see you. I haven't seen you in a year, Mum. I see you once a year. You won't see your dad. I see him once every 5 years. He lives 20 minutes away. Once every 5 years. But you'll get lonely. I'm a fucking locked in a fucking mental asylum. What do you mean I'm gonna get? What about your job? I'm getting sacked next week anyway by Alex Smith, so fuck the job. I don't even need the job, do I? The fuck am I working for? Might as well just go on universal credit. The fuck am I working? I don't even know why I'm working. That's why I'm getting sacked next week probably. I haven't done any work, have I? I don't do anything. I can't be fucked. I'm in that state of mind. I can't be fucked. I can just about do enough work, but at least you can tell I've logged on. I've done, like, I'm meant to work like 25 cases a day. I work about 4 and they're all wrong. Now my boss like said like last week, it's like, dude, he was like, oh, you're fucking gone, man. And he was like, oh, thanks for not, because a lot of the mistakes I made were his fault. He was like, oh, thanks for not blaming me. You didn't even mention that I told you. Like, a lot of stuff I've been pulled up for, he told me to do, because he can't be fucked to figure it out. And it's like, you've never said, oh, but Steve told me to do that. And every fucker does that. It's like, why didn't you do that? And it's like, my mistakes had nothing to do with you, Steve. Like, yeah. So that's the only reason I've got a job. It's just because I haven't thrown him under the bus. And I just wouldn't throw anyone. Like, if I get fired, it's on me, man. It's 100% on me. Okay, I'm not going to blame fucking Steve. Steve's a good boss, man. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm not going to change I can't see my attitude changing to my job. I'm just going to get up in the morning, get on my laptop, yay, and do these fucking PPI. Fucking, yeah, my new job's impossible anyway, because I don't want to get into it. It's so complicated that to do one case, there's so many mistakes you could make going through the process that you're bound to fuck it up, basically. So you just think I'll just rattle it through. So at least it looks like I've done something, right? I've done 3 cases and they were a nightmare. They're all fucking wrong. I don't even make it right. Now, I am actually trying, like, a little bit. So, I'm not going to have a job. And it's hard to sack me because I think, if you're honest about it, if you're working from home, is anyone actually doing any work? Like, come on, man. Because I got, like, Steve asked, it's like, oh, have you been bunking today? Because I looked and you went online. And I was just like, oh, yeah. I went out to park. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for being honest, you know what I mean? Because everyone else is like, oh, my internet went down. Oh my didn't with me, it's just like, oh, I just couldn't be fucked, man. I went for it, like, what happened this morning is I woke up, my computer didn't work, and I went fucking ballistic for half an hour. I nearly had a heart attack, just yelling and yelling and yelling. And then I realised I'm going mental again. I need to fucking calm this down. Because I'm going to actually have a fucking heart attack, just because my computer didn't work. And then, yeah, I have a breakfast on your watch. Then I have smoke a joint. Then I watch Alex Jones. Then I watch the Quite Frankly podcast. Yeah, and yeah, I'm smoking about 15 joints a day. My weed smoking's out the fucking roof, man. And then Steve will go, oh, so work's going well then for you, Paul. He's like, I'll just catch you later. I'll just catch you next week. Yeah. He'd be a cunt to fire me though, wouldn't he? Because I guess I'm basically admitting to being mentally retarded, aren't I?
I mean, the whole thing, like, even, yeah, with working from home, I don't think anyone does.
No one's doing any fucking work, man. Some days I do. Like maybe one day in 12, I put a day, fucking do a day's work. Sometimes you do actually just get bored, and it's quite nice to have some work to do. See, like, I'll probably do like 2 hours a day, 2-3 hours a day. And then you're 10-minute here or 10-minute there. But most of the time I'm just playing chess or smoking weed, eating something, just wait until 4:30 so I can turn that fucking thing off. Because as long as you've got your laptop next to you, if you get an email, just reply to it. So that's all you got to do. Just make it look like you're fucking awake. Do you know what I mean? Just give the impression you're there. It's not hard.
Yeah.
What do you think about your future at the moment?
I don't know. I'm bothered enough that I have, you know, a handful of jobs that I supposedly quit at the start of this, and yet I'm still working all of them months later, and I don't know, it's just irritating.
Yeah, I wish you'd come to Bulgaria, man. It's a bit scary going by yourself, maybe. Because you could get your hands on a bit of cash, couldn't you, if you just sold up? Sold everything you got. All you need, if you could get 5 grand, you'd be fucking laughing, man. If you can't get 5 grand, I could chuck you a grand. It gets that bad. But you can get 5 grand.
Yeah, probably could.
I reckon I could get maybe 20, 25. I'm just get the fuck out of it, man. Just take 8 grand cash and just use the rest as like emergency. Pretend you don't have it. Because money out there is like ridiculous. And I think that's why it's such a selling point. Because everyone's like, why are the houses so cheap? And it's like, because they haven't obviously fell for bullshit, have they? It's obviously still a Christian country that doesn't run on nonsense. That's why. What's going to happen to your house price here anyway?
Figure this chat shit out later.
They're going to fucking plummet, man.
Yeah, I mean, the housing market around here is so ridiculous anyway, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I'm not interested in having a house here. Like, my rent's $5.50 a month. So you're saying that if I didn't pay any rent for just 6 months, I could actually buy an alright house. So you're saying, like, my flat ain't even that. If I did a cribs around my flat, you'd be like, where the fuck are you living, dude? Where the fuck are you living? And my mum's like, oh, the house won't be that great in Bulgaria. It's like, I'm not exactly living in a palace, am I? It's pretty close to a crack den.
You know, but I to some extent, I've noticed women are just like that. Like, they don't like change. They're so anti-change, anti-risk, that you could bring up virtually anything that would improve your situation. Like, they're the ones where it's like, they have such a crabs in a barrel mentality of anytime you're like, I want to improve my situation, they're like, no, don't, stay.
I mean, the only friend I've got from school is married now and he's got kids. So I haven't told him this yet. But if I did go, I've got to leave my stuff somewhere. It's not really, most of it I'm just going to burn. But like, I can just give him a TV. So TV's worth having. But he's really into guitars. He's into 6 bands. So I can just go, hey, like, look after my Les Paul. And that Les Paul's like even though it's not worth too much, it's probably worth about 1,200. So he would probably just give me a grand until, if I ever come back, then I can buy the guitar back. Because the only thing I've got, possession I've got, which I'd miss, is if I did come back, I'd like my guitar. Other than that, I don't really give it, like, I don't really have anything I'm worried about. I reckon I phoned PKP up and said, oh, I need some cash, because he's doing really well. He's had 2 jobs since he's left. I said, oh, can I have a grand? 10% of my budget, man, if I lift for 10 grand. And you can just keep my guitar until I buy it back. He'd be like, yes. Do you not want to get out of here? Are you going to stick around then?
I I'm not I can't even think that far ahead. I don't know what's going on next week at this rate.
Because I was
That's
looking at flats, because I'm earning now, which I hadn't had a job in ages, like a proper job. So I've actually got money in the bank. So it's like, oh, I'll get a nice flat. I was kind of fucked with it, man.
I
Pay
mean,
more money.
I'll tell you
I'd
the
have to pay another £100 a month.
I mean, I definitely want to get out of city areas. Like that's priority, being somewhere where it isn't densely populated.
Yeah, because I've got a credit card. That's got
But
2.5 grand limit on it.
but
If I
again,
could get another one, now my credit range.
my
I could
whole
get another credit card
problem,
with a 2 grand limit on it,
my whole
buy a
problem
house with it, and just throw the fucking credit card away.
my whole issue though is like I was saying, like I at the start of all of this was like, all right, well, I can just do this and that to try to build up like online revenue so that way I can go wherever and I'm not stuck somewhere with a job or anything like that. And I put in my notice at all these jobs and then they just, I don't know, like ignore it or something, or act like they're hiring someone, then it doesn't work out, then they just are like, oh, well, if Jamie's still here, then he's still here and we don't need to hire someone. So I'll tell you what, there's going to be a handful of people that at some point I'm just going to be like, I have no availability, and they're going to be like, well, what do you mean? And I'm going to be like, I put in notice months ago. Like, don't play stupid with me.
I've never had given. Why would you give notice anyway? Just leave. I never understood this notice. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Notice. I'm done. Out of it. And yes, I mean, I get it for you because you got a respect for him because you actually got him with your boss.
Well, the thing is
Yeah.
it's even like it's not even as much the boss at the restaurant with her. She's asking for help here and there and really trying to use me minimally. Like, I mean, she respects what I'm trying to do. She's the one that there's no problem with whatsoever. It's all of this other shit though, where I'm being hit up, being like, "What? So can you work today?" And it's like, there's no notice whatsoever. And it drives me crazy that it's in this warped perspective of last minute and everything on the fly is being flexible. It's like that's not being flexible, that's being haphazard. That's a lack of planning. Like, how can I plan what I'm doing if I wake up to a message basically saying drop whatever you thought you were going to do today? Like, it's fucking infuriating that the one thing I should be doing, I can't remember the last time I've done at this rate.
None of the businesses you're in are going to survive another COVID nonsense anyway. It's gone. It's gone, guys.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I was talking to Mo. He's like a world champ, like kickboxer. I was like, you have to open the gym. Have to do it now. It's been locked down for 3 months. I was like, you just put a sign on the door and you do members now. It's a private members club. And we don't take COVID seriously. We think it's retarded. We don't believe it because we're not gay and we're not into sodomy. You have to calculate your own risk, and if you try and shut you down, because at the moment I was telling him, I'm going to offer you a tenner for that gym. I'll offer you a tenner, and you might laugh. You'll be regretting not taking that tenner in 2 months. Your gym is worthless, man.
Well, see, and that's the other thing is like I wonder in your situation, like, have they given you guys a timeline or
We're going back into
expectations of?
lockdown now. Like, that's the thing. It's all a trick because they use it.
Yeah, yeah, it's what we said from the beginning. I mean, it's
So we're doing what they're doing in America. It's going to be based on towns. Certain towns will get locked down.
yeah. Remember I said that though in the very beginning where I said they're going to let it run its course, then they'll give us 2 to 3 weeks of loosening it up, and then they'll lock it back down.
Yes, it's learned helplessness. It's like what you do to a dog. We make it just random. You'll give up. Anyway, the owner of the gym said he was going to call me back because he was going like, even though like I take the piss, I get ripped the piss out of me. I'm pretty much banned from the gym because I got a bit fired up with people in there. And it's like, I got to hand you respect. Like, no one else talks to me like this. I was like, I can't say his name. I was going, you're a fucking idiot, man. You're going to lose your fucking business. He was like, oh no, I've done the COVID. He told me, oh, I've done the COVID, you know, the government pass, so it's all safe in here. I've got on a training thing. I'm like, you're negotiating with terrorists, you fucking idiot.
Basically.
Tell them to fuck off. It was like, oh, but then I won't have a life. It's like, we're done at this point. It's a private club. And give me the keys. I'll get arrested for it. I'm honestly so fired up now. I'll fucking open it. I'll tell the cops to fuck off.
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure as long as you make it a private establishment, they wouldn't be able to do anything.
You know, I was doing my own Benjamin thing. It's going, well, if the police can't be trouble. It's like, no, it won't. I'll be a legend.
Speaking of,
I will be a legend.
speaking of,
I'll live stream it.
have you heard about Owen Benjamin's supporters and the whole Patreon arbitration thing?
Only a bit, but it looks like his patron's gone.
Yeah, and even Sargon came out and said, well, if this works for Owen, it would work for my Patreons too, and anyone else who's been kicked off the platform. Yeah, we could bankrupt people who have used that platform could bankrupt it.
Yeah, Patreon's gone. Yeah, if it wasn't for Owen Benjamin, I don't think I would be on the planet now. He's been a great help. It's amazing what YouTube can do.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, the crazy thing too, though, like...
It has been, like, the censorship's a big thing. If I couldn't get access to Owen Benjamin, or Gavin McInnes makes me laugh, he's the only guy...
I was going to say,
I'd be so depressed.
Atheism is Unstoppable is now on Gavin's platform since he got kicked off of YouTube, and it really is at the point where anyone who's speaking any bit of truth, you cannot find them on mainstream. And that's what I was basically saying about the Black Lives Matter thing, is if these people want to say the whole system is fucked, I'll give you that, because you can't go to any of the parts of the system to hear any truth. But yet, these people are saying the system's fucked and then falling in line with the system.
Yeah, Dan Dix got wiped today.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not just that, like, you know, I listen to Alex Jones, like, all the time. Today, I can't find this show anywhere on YouTube. Anywhere. So there must be a massive purge they've done. The Crow House is gone. I used to like listening to the Crow House. I listen to it every day. It's gone. I think it's a good thing because now I always told myself I need to move away from YouTube. It's a bit of hassle going on D-Live and D-Tube. But now I'm finding, I may as well go on BitChute now. Because most of my key subscribers are now on BitChute anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
and I don't know if I'm missing stuff because stuff's getting pulled all the time. So I think I told Dan Dix today, I was like, stop fucking, you're being a bit of a dick about it, really, because you're a fucking idiot if you're on YouTube, mate. So, as much as I love you, Dan, I'm not giving you any fucking hugs or kisses going, oh, you lost your channel. You're a fucking muppet if you're pissed off about that.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was coming. They've done you a favour, mate, in the long run.
Yeah.
You had it all backed up. You know what you're doing. Go on somewhere else. Fucking.
I mean, that's why.
I don't know why you're on there.
That's why I use the restream thing, so everything goes to D-Live and, you know, all the other platforms, because I don't trust any of them. I mean, also, the other thing, I've been using Parler a lot, because everyone's switched over to that.
Using what?
Parler.
Not heard of that.
It's like a Facebook, Twitter alternative, but that's where Sargon and Gavin and Milo and anyone that's been banned from Twitter, that's where they are now. Right? And you know, I mean, you sign up for it and you get a welcome message from Ron Paul. What's better than that?
No way.
Yeah.
You can send Ron Paul DMs.
Yeah. Ron Paul's one of the huge people behind it, like in supporting it.
How's your mental health been over the lockdowns? Like, has it deteriorated for you? Because for me, it's deteriorated a bit. Like, obviously, it's not.
I don't know. I think mine is fine. I haven't really. I mean, because the thing about it is,
You don't lie awake just thinking, this is the apocalypse. Like, this is worse than I could ever have dreamt.
no, because the thing is like it doesn't affect my day to day that much.
Yeah, it don't affect mine either.
I mean, it's like the only point where it was depressing was I was talking to someone the other day and they were asking, "Do you have any plans for the summer?" And I was like, "What sort of plans could I have? Like, like maybe go to a beach or something." I said normally every summer, like I'll try to find like a good concert in New York City to go to or something, but there's none of that going on. So who knows? But I don't know. I try not to think about it too
Do you
much
think
and
I'm
just
getting
stay
overwhelmed
busy.
then? I'm like, I've got to get out of here now. We're all gonna die.
Uh,
I can't see any future here, man. I just don't get it.
I you know what the thing is I think it is only going to get worse, so I don't think you're wrong in thinking that. Like I think mandatory vaccinations are coming. I mean, I even and you'll get me where this is coming from, me saying this. Other people don't get it. But the same way we saw the correlation between them letting out prisoners and then the riots, I can't help but wonder if they set up this whole contact tracer unit and that's going to end up standing in where they've defunded the police.
Yeah, I think it is.
And
It's gonna be
people are
thrown
saying,
into
"Oh,
it.
but that's medical, this and that." And I'm like,
No,
"Yeah,
it's
but it
not
could."
even that. Mate, it's simpler than that because once the economy collapses, there's going to be such few places you can actually commit a crime because there's only like 3 shops. Everything's going to be centralized. So if it's centralized, it's only one area you've got to keep
Yeah.
police.
And
You're not going to have like thousands and thousands of different shops that all.
and here's the thing: is they're not COVID
And that's how the mask thing becomes mandatory because it's like, oh well, I'll just go somewhere else.
And
It ain't going to be an option in literally a couple of weeks because everyone's going to go bust.
but the other thing is it's
Amazon,
like
Walmart.
you have to remember they're not COVID tracers. They are contact tracers. So what sort of contact are we talking about? It could be that definition could very easily be expanded into any sort of contact.
Well, in Australia, they lock people in their apartments like they did in China.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, at that point for me, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at prison sentence time now. Because I'm not that mentally calm when someone threatens me. Like, I'm very peaceful. Like, I'd never stop. You probably noticed with me, I get fired up, man. Someone tries to pick on me, I get real fired up.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be in jail or dead. Obviously, I vowed to kill Bill Gates if he comes to England. I have to do it now. I got that from God. What do I do if he comes to England? Like, just ignore that happened? I mean, you couldn't even plan anything like that because everything's fucking recorded now. So you're fucked.
Yeah.
Can't even joke about it.
I don't know. Whole thing is really obnoxious.
I really worry about what's going to happen to these kids in school.
That too. I know my sister is saying she might not send the 2 youngest ones back, and the oldest one
You
is
can't
already
send them back.
homeschooled.
It'd be child abuse, send them back.
Yeah, especially because my nephew has asthma, and they want him wearing a mask all day? Hell no. Hell no. And then my other niece, she's deaf, so she reads lips partially to understand what people are saying, and she can't do that if you're wearing a mask. So yeah, it would be child abuse, especially for the two of them.
social distance kids.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Could you imagine being socially distanced at school when you was a kid?
Oh,
Get
I've
the
seen things.
fuck
I've
out of here.
seen videos of kids where they have these fucking shields on their faces and all sorts of other craziness.
Like I've told you a million times before, I was always never at home as a kid. So you can't share toys. Can't do that.
Yeah, the whole thing is.
You gotta get the fuck out of here on that shit.
I mean,
And
it.
what is the big fear? Like, even if I go along with the bullshit, it's still a 99.7% survival rate, even if I go along with it. I think
Yeah.
they've done that on purpose to really just drive you around the bend when you figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I think that is and it also helps to pit people against each other because like
Well, I am pit against stuff. I'm walking down the road calling people dicks that have got a mask on. And if you're a woman or a child, I'll let you off. But if you're a full grown man walking down my road with a fucking mask, you get in a comment about what are you doing wearing a fucking mask on your face? Are you a pervert or a criminal? Tell me which one you are.
yeah, because with a 97%, recovery rate, there's no reason for it.
And even if you think it's real, like I said, what are you doing in that biohazard once you've finished with it? You're just going to dump it in the bin, are you? You fucking idiot.
Well, and it's
the
really
most dangerous thing on the planet.
It's really to make everyone like very suspicious of each other and sort of like
No, it's so they know who's a retard and who's not straight off the bat.
well, yeah, but I'm saying
you need to know who's compliant and who's not compliant.
I'm saying to the people that are buying into it, it makes them feel like everyone could potentially fucking kill
that
them.
In the lockstep that they need to. I actually think they're going to do it the opposite way around. But the people that aren't compliant, they need to have a list off so they can deal with them first. But in reality, they'll do it the other way around. The people that are compliant will be the first to be killed.
Yeah. Well, that's how it always is.
Yeah, because you're just easy fodder, man.
Yeah.
And you might want to recruit people that aren't that conforming.
Well, and what's interesting is that's sort of what the whole like Boogaloo movement was about.
I thought that was just like a 4chan joke. And
no.
Actually, absolutely agree.
Oh yeah, I have friends in the military that are tied in with it.
What is the Boogaloo? I don't even know what it is.
It's basically former military that are basically saying like if there is a communist sort of socialist revolution, we're gonna fight it. Like and
right. And these are people that get their own meat from the woods.
Kinda, yeah.
And they're gonna take on soy boys.
Pretty much.
Like, are these people out their fucking minds? They're the only people in America. Even I wouldn't fuck. Man, that's one thing with America that's got going. We don't have that in England. Admittedly, most of Americans are pussies. But when it comes to those guys, yeah. They fucking skin bears and shit, man. They cook their own deer and just cut it up.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do to these Black Lives? Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's yeah.
Did the Black Lives Matter not know what they're facing?
No, not at all. And that's my real point of concern is that they don't understand what they are asking for because
even I get fired up. There's certain people I'm like.
Because either then this is what I was saying earlier is either it goes their way and then the next phase of it they're going to instantly regret because that will be let's dismantle heteronormativity, and then it's going to be gay men or straight black men will be forced into being gay by the lesbians of Black Lives Matter, or they're going to get a confrontation with actual Americans that will end up being very.
Did you see the woman who handles all their finances? Is
Weather Underground? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's dangerous, the whole thing. But anyway, let me get going for the day. I got some running around to do before it's too late, and then I gotta go into work tonight. But I was gonna say, starting in August, my schedule should be changed around, so I should go back to just being available on the weekends again.
I hate it when you say that. You fucking have to rub it in, don't you?
What?
Like the fact that I don't have a fucking schedule.
Oh,
I'm available every fucking moment.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a life, man. It's sad.
I wish I could give you half of my schedule.
I don't want it. But I have been doing a lot of music. That's the main, actually. So I say that all the time, but this time it's real. Like, I did have that moment where it's like, it's kind of a blessing. Like, the thing, just get into what you're into when you're a 10, and that's that electric guitar.
You know, and
Yeah,
that's
think about it and stuff.
and I feel like that's why I haven't really been really down about all of this, because I'm surrounded by a handful of other people that are doing that as well, where it's like me and my closest friends have all just sort of seen this as an opportunity to like double down on the creative things we enjoy.
I'm stronger than I've ever been, because you just get bored and just do press ups all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I play guitar like I'm getting good now. Like even I'm like learning. It's not about guitar as such, but more learning about what music is.
Yeah.
Like I was never playing a major scale. But like I played guitar, right, for what, 20 years, and I never learned the major scale. No wonder I fucking sucked, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never solo in a major. So now I'm like in and out major and minor. It's like whoa, or I can just keep it in major. That's like just doubled my playing. Because all the techniques I had before all apply now to this. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you think, oh, major scale is really handy. Because you think, why would a guitarist? You must think like if you're a guitarist, everything's sad, right? It's bluesy, it's sad, it's sad, it's sad, it's sad. So it's like never use a major scale. And then you realise the major scale is a minor scale. So if you play a G major scale, so you always use a G chord, it's the same as an E minor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even, you know, C major is A minor.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
And then you realise you don't need scales, that you fucking solo over chord shapes. What? What, you shouldn't be playing like 60,000 notes in one bar. You can just play two. What? You can actually think about what note you're going to use, because it's actually going somewhere. What? Because you know what I was like, I just fucking go as fast as I can. Just hit as many notes as you can. It's like fucking guitar, it's like a computer game. But now it's like, for the next part of the solo, I just want one note, maybe two.
I feel like most musicians hit that point though, where it's like they learn how to do some things, and then they overdo it, and then they reel it back.
Solo. And yes, I can take the band away, and I know what chords are being hit in that guitar solo. That's my rule now. If there's any riffage or any solo, you have to figure it out. So actually, anyone listening to it know, okay, they don't know what chord it is, but they can hear the chord. It's obvious what the chord is.
Yeah. You're
not just playing E pentatonic shred, or chromatic. It's like, oh, it's going G to E to A. Yeah, I brought a guitar amp, that Boss Katana, but it broke.
That sucks.
Yeah, I sent it back. That was really nice, like having a guitar amp for the first time in 20 years. I brought a real guitar amp. It's so different than using a computer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And guitar technology's got insane. Like, it does actually sound like a real valve amp. And not only does it sound like a real valve amp when it's clean, you've got all the Boss, you know about guitar pedals, it's got every single Boss pedal in it.
Wow.
So you can just access any pedal you want. It's got 4 channels, which is quite a lot. So it's got a acoustic, which obviously you don't use, but you can use that as your effects loop, I think, the acoustic. for like modulating. You got like a clean, which is really nice, man, and it's got 2 volumes. So one volume, you like crank the emulation of the amp, so obviously that's always on full blast. But then you've got like a volume for your actual speaker, so the speaker's always acting if you want as if it's on high end, no matter how low volume you go. So that's insane. It always, because you always want to crank an amp 100%, really. It's going to sound proper.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that in your fucking bedroom. And it's got like a 5 watt, half watt option, 25 watt and 50 watt. And even though it's digital, it is actually 50 watt. Like you can play that in a gig. It's going to be fine for any gig you play. 50 watts going to be fine. Anything more than that, you're probably going to have problems. So I don't understand why guitarists go on pub gigs for like half stack. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like that's Wembley Stadium size amp, you know.
Yeah, I've never understood that.
But it's like, yeah, mate, get a little amp. But no, like they think you're taking a piss because you're jealous of their big amp. It's like, what? How on earth?
Yeah, there's just no need for it.
How on earth are you gonna crank it?
But anyway, let me get running. I gotta
Right.
be somewhere in 10 minutes.
Never
So-
wear shorts on a podcast again.
Why? Because everyone can not see it.
I don't know. I'm not watching it. That's
Oh,
why I don't want to know.
but
All right.
all right. I'll talk to you later, man.
Just think about the fashion choices you make.
I will.